Hello everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we'll give you ILTV's latest positive highlights. Get ready to smile because coming up, history always just under our feet. A young Israeli boy finding a 2,500-year-old figurine while out on a hike with his family. Next, we'll learn about Israel's bustling diamond industry. And finally, is meat growing in a lab considered kosher? Stay tuned to find out. Imagine taking a family hike and stumbling across an ancient artifact. Well, that's exactly what happened a few weeks ago to none other than a young boy. Aaron Porras has the details.
A rare female figurine dating back 2,500 years ago was discovered by an 11-year-old boy while out on a family trip. Tzvi ben David from Beersheva was on a hike to Nachal HaBesor when he caught sight of the unusual object. And well, this ancient artifact turned out to be from the end of the Iron Age or from the Persian period, dating back to the First Temple or around the 5th or 6th century BCE. And it depicts a woman with a scarf covering her head and neck and features a prominent nose. And the woman is bare-breasted and her hands are folded under her chest. Oren Shmueli and Debbie Ben-Ami, curator of the Iron Age and Persian periods in the Israeli Antiquities Authority, explaining that these figurines were common in the home and in everyday life during those time periods, and apparently even served as amulets to ensure protection, good luck, and/or prosperity. The figurine, though, was delivered to the National Treasures Collection, and it's currently being studied in collaboration with the University of Helsinki in Finland. As for the young boy who found the amulet, he was awarded a certificate of appreciation for good citizenship by the Israel Antiquities Authority.
A new TV show is highlighting stories from the IDF and bringing exclusive stories straight from soldiers to a screen near you. FIDF Live, a project by the Friends of the IDF, launching a new bi-weekly show hosted by Joel Chasnoff, a former lone soldier himself. Take a look.
Basically, this is our post. This is where a battalion stays.
So you guys are search and rescue.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about what you do and the mission of Ram Battalion.
Oh, this is a good question because we have a pretty meaningful tafkid. In the daily life, you know, we are like combat soldiers. It means that we are here to defend the country, to defend the persons. But in time of war, we have like a search and rescue specialty. It means that we are here to save lives. We went to Brazil, we went to South America, we went to Philippines, to a lot of places. So basically, this is pretty meaningful and it's a good job.
Now let's take a look at ILTV interview with Rabbi Stephen Weil, the National Director and CEO of the FIDF.
Thank you so much for joining me today, all the way from New York, correct?
Lauren, it's an honor to be on your show, and we're a big fan of you and the show.
Wonderful. So tell me first, what is the FIDF about, and why did you decide to launch this new project?
Oh, we're trying to connect American and Panamanian Jewry with Israel. And that's really through supporting the soldiers, through supporting the future of Israel. These few 100,000 young men and young women, they're the future of the Jewish people in Israel. And we're investing in them now, educationally, otherwise, to give them the opportunity for them ultimately to transform our future.
So I understand that the host of the show is a former lone soldier himself, and you are also a former IDF soldier. So why is it so important to you to highlight these kinds of stories? Obviously, there's a personal connection there.
Our goal really is to connect American Jewry. And the way that it is one soldier at a time, one battalion at a time. And it tells the story of Israel, because the story of Israel is young Jewish men and young Jewish women from backgrounds of 70 different countries, multiple cultures, religious backgrounds. And unfortunately, we can't bring people to Israel during COVID, during the quarantines, but we can bring their story, the story of Israel, to America. And that's what we're doing.
Can you give us an idea of some of the stories we can look forward to watching on your new show, FIDF Live, and some of the subject matter that you're going to cover here?
So just a few examples. I don't know if you have a chance to see International Women's Day. We featured women in the IDF. That was one issue. Another issue that we're dealing with is the IDF gives everyone a second chance on life. Meaning no matter what kind of a background someone's had. You have a young man who's been in juvenile prison 2-3 times already, has a 9th grade education. You have a young woman who's been selling her body for sex in order to have drug money from the time she was 13 years old. What does the IDF do? It teaches them self-respect. The Jewish army is like no other army on earth. It's an investment in human capital. It's an investment in young men and young women to give them a second chance in life. So it takes from, on one end, la creme de la creme, that we all know those stories, mehakatza la katza, and on the other hand, the most challenged in society. In most places on earth, those people are cursed, and they're a burden on society. In Israel, they're given the wings to fly. And those kind of stories we share. We share every dimension and every aspect of the Jewish world, of the Jewish people. They're the face of Israel.
Wonderful. We will certainly keep a lookout for more episodes of your show. Thank you so much, Rabbi, for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Lauren, it's an honor to be with you.
Up next, ILTV got the chance to visit the Borsa Diamond Museum and learn all about the Israeli diamond industry. Take a look.
Today we're going to get an exclusive look at one of the world's largest diamond trading complexes in the world.
The Israeli Diamond Exchange Complex in Ramat Gan is considered to be one of the biggest, busiest, and most technologically advanced worldwide. All aspects of the diamond business, including importing and exporting of rough and polished diamonds, take place here. After all, Israel is one of the diamond world's leading centers for both trade and manufacturing of polished diamonds.
We'll get a chance to visit the Diamond Museum and learn all about the bustling Israeli diamond industry. So this is the place in Israel to get all of the information you need about the fascinating stone, the diamond.
Exactly.
Whether it's from Israel or around the world, what are we expected to see here at the museum?
The museum is actually the showcase of the Israeli diamond industry, but it tells the story of the entire diamond, from formation, mining system, the manufacturing process, and trading.
So it's time to learn about the fascinating multi-billion-dollar industry.
So we will start from the beginning. Okay. So let's go how rough diamond looks like and how they are formed in nature and where we can find diamond worldwide. So the story starts deep down the layers of the ground. Diamond is a pure carbon that crystallizes deep down the layers of the ground in very high pressure and temperature.
The diamonds rise to Earth's surface in different types of rock, mainly kimberlite.
Wow. So here you can see rough diamond and the kimberlite rock. But when the diamonds came up, we already do not need the kimberlite rock. We need to crush it. But still diamonds is not being harmed because it is the hardest mineral in nature.
So is it true that the only way to crush a diamond is with another diamond?
Yes, during the manufacturing process, which I'll show you later on, we will see that only a diamond can cut a diamond or a diamond powder or the technique of laser.
If I were to pass by something like this on the street, no one would know what it's worth and how rare it is.
Right, because it is not shining as it will be after being polished. And it doesn't have the symmetry and proportion of a polished diamond.
Which diamond is the most valuable and rare?
The transparent are the rarest, and when we go on the scale to yellowish and brownish color, it's less rare.
Israel specializes in the big, rough diamonds from 1 carat and up, while other countries focus on the smaller ones.
There are different mining locations worldwide. Today, the main rough producer is Russia.
Really?
Yes.
Russia has the most diamonds.
Yes, then we go back to Africa, great, and then Canada.
And they get imported to Israel, and
yes,
here's where
and
they're
other
polished.
cutting centers to be polished.
The annual export of net polished diamonds from Israel worldwide is valued at $4.6 billion.
After the diamond is unearthed, what happens next?
So actually we start with the manufacturing process, and we have 5 different stages from rough to polish.
The journey of a diamond from rough to polish includes removing all of its impurities.
The polishing takes place here?
In Israel, we have, as I told you, polishing of high diamond, high quality and big size of diamond. But here we come back to 50, 60 years ago. You can see how polishing was done at that time. This is the polishing wheel, and what you hold is exactly what we needed in order to cover the polishing wheel with diamond powder.
The polishing wheel, lined with diamond dust, is rotated at a high speed, which forms the smooth and reflective facets of the diamond. This process needs to be done really carefully as each move can affect the outcome of the diamond.
We put the low quality diamonds
Wow,
over
this
here.
is heavy.
It's heavy.
Can't even pick
We
it up.
crashed it. One diamond actually crashed another.
It's like grinding coffee beans.
Yes.
Why don't we go to more modern ways of...
Okay, so let's move to a modern polishing table. So here you can see how we polish diamond today. There is the polisher who hold this instrument. It is called a tang, and this part is the dop. The dop is mechanical. The diamond powder is inlaid in the scale. The main tool is this small loop. It's a 10-time magnifying loop, and each time the polisher creates an angles or a facet, you need to look at the diamond like this. As you can see, there is a difference in the size of the grains.
Right, this one is a more fine powder.
Yes, and this is more rough because for every application we need different size of grains.
The end of the tour, which happens to be my favorite part, features an exhibition of polished diamonds on display.
It's time for us to see how the polished diamond that we saw in the last section are set in beautiful pieces of jewelry.
You know, you don't really realize when you go to the jewelry store how much work is involved behind it.
And how many people are involved in
Exactly.
this.
Now after today, I'm sure I'm gonna really
And you will
realize it more and
appreciate.
appreciate it.
Need your cheesecake fix? Esty from kosher.com got the easiest and most customizable recipe for you. No oven, no mixer, just delicious cheesecake flavor. Keep it classic or customize it to your heart's content. Watch this.
Today, we are making a 3-ingredient, infinitely customizable cheesecake, and a special thank you goes to my friend Naomi Elberg, also known as Naomi TGIS, who shared the recipe with me so I can share it with all of you. And it's really perfect timing because this year is kind of crazy, and we need as easy as it gets, and this is it. What you need is some cream cheese. You can use full fat, you can use low fat, just don't use vegetable, because ew. You need some milk, and you need some instant pudding mix, and you can use vanilla or chocolate or sugar-free or anything, and this is going to give you your thickness and your sweetness. You can use any flavor that you want. If you don't have cream cheese, you can't find cream cheese, you can use ricotta here as well. I'm just gonna pour my milk right here into my cream cheese, mix these two together, and then I'm gonna add the pudding mix. So the whipped cream cheese is light and fluffy already. If you only have the brick style, that's fine too, but you might need a mixer for it, sorry. So we have our cream cheese and milk. A few pieces are okay. And then we add our pudding mix. Did you even open a pudding mix if there's not like powder everywhere? All right. It goes from soupy to thick and cheesecakey in a matter of like 1 minute, okay? So you're like, what are you saying? What are you doing? No, I got you. I got you, okay? Check it out. Give it a nice quick whisk. Now, obviously, I say this about a lot of recipes that I show you. This is really, really great for the kids to help. And you can even do this on Yom Tif. Look how quickly that got thick. It's thanks to the pudding mix. And now at this point, you can really stir in any of your toppings and have them as mix-ins. So I have some crushed Oreos here. I have some graham cracker, which by the way, I didn't even crush these graham crackers. I just used a crust that I crumbled. Ta-da! This is easier, does it? I have some sprinkles for like a funfetti, but I'm just actually gonna use these as toppings. I'm gonna show you how I do this. So I transfer this to a bag. Here we go. And I'm gonna use a tip because I wanna be fancy pants, but you don't even need to be. You can just even use 2 spoons. You can even pour this entire thing into a pie crust and call it a day. Top it with whatever you want to. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Whoops. Whoops. All right, spatula. All right, so go and scoop the whole thing right into this bag. This is so good. All right, now what we do is make sure the tip is good. what's the word for this? I don't know. It's so good. And we grab some cups. And the ones that I like to use are these like little mason jars. I think these are 4 ounces, but you can use whatever cups you like. You don't need a crust, but I like crust. So I'm just gonna start with some crumbs right in here. Okay, so let's just do like a classic cheesecake. Now here's the tip. You don't wanna do it from up here. You kind of wanna go really, really low and slowly make like a little rosette. And then if you want a flavor like cherry, which I love, you go ahead and add that right there. And then you can stop or you can keep going. So I'm gonna keep going because why would you stop? You have that beautiful little cheesecake. I'm gonna use my fingers for this because it works better. Top it with some crumbs. I love this. Look how good that looks. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do is like a cookies and cream. Because there's no egg in here, you don't have to worry about eating it right away. Look how pretty. And some more crumbs on top. Let's do a funfetti. So we'll mix some of the graham cracker and some colored sprinkles and even more sprinkles. What should we do for the last one? Yes, what should we do? I'm gonna clean my workstation. I'm gonna do like a s'more one. Let's do a s'more one. Yeah? Oh, so for a s'more one, let's mix in some, yeah, let's do that. So obviously you can come up with your flavors as you want to. You can do like a pecan caramel, you can do like a lemon curd swirled in there, topped with some lemon zest. You can do, some chocolate chips for good measure. You could use a spoon or your fingers, this is your family, whatever. Some chocolate. Some more chocolate. And need some marshmallows. I'm gonna get some marshmallows. In back, I've got munchmallows. Just stick these in. And here's a s'more one. If you've ever made my cheesecake cannolis, that's actually what my kids asked me to make this year. I tried this in the cannoli shells, they gave it a 2 thumbs up, so you can definitely use cannoli shells as well. And all you do is pipe this mixture right in there. And there you go, cheesecake cannolis, just for fun. You can dip it in some sprinkles or Oreos, or you get the idea. Infinitely customizable, and I didn't even put these in a crust. I didn't even do like the bajillion other ways that you can use this recipe. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe, and I hope you guys have a beautiful and happy Shavuos with lots of delicious cheesecake. Ready? I'm gonna say that again because it was too much information. Who cares? It's really awkward. It's so good. Guys, Donna? I was supposed to, okay, I missed it. Okay. We're gonna do that again.
It has to move around this background.
Quiet on set. Oh, I forgot to do the thing you said to do. Anyway, I'm wishing you guys all a very long run-on sentence.
Is meat grown from cells in a lab instead of an animal considered kosher? And even if it is kosher, is it considered meat? Join Rabbi Menachem Genack from kosher.com as he discusses the topic of clean meat and its implications on the kosher world.
In terms of this new technology of clean meat, of this taking the genetic material of an animal and generating it and producing meat. So is it kosher or not? It would seem that if the cells that we take are from an animal that was not slaughtered, that the end product would not be kosher. Because hayotzimna osa osa, if it's derived from something not kosher, and also since in this case it's a maimed, it's an essential for creating the product, even though it would be tiny amounts, microscopic amounts, that which is derived from it would be not kosher. However, if the stem cells or the material that is being used is from a kosher slaughtered animal, then it would be kosher. The next question will be, even if it's kosher, is it meat or is it parv? do we consider this Borsa because it's derived ultimately from the stem cells of the genetic material of an animal, and more significantly, because it is exactly genetically meat. So is this considered Borsa or is this considered Pav? So we've turned to many poskim within the OU to ask this question. Initially we thought that this would be Pav, because even though the initial product is a meat-derived, cells, but it's a tiny amount. That which is grown subsequently is outside the animal, and therefore it would be Pav, even though something can be meat. That which is derived from it does not necessarily make it Borsa. The most dramatic example, of course, is milk. Milk comes from an animal, but it's obviously not meat, it's milk. So, is it Fleischiks? Is it Pav? However, other poskim thought, amongst them, one prominent poskim in Eretz Yisrael, Osher Weiss, and also the Mordechai Gross of Bnei Brak, were of the opinion that since in all its qualities, especially in terms of genetic makeup, it's exactly identical to meat, that it has the status of meat. Even if we do to consider it Pav, like the initial position, we would still have to treat it in many respects like meat because of the halach of Maras Ayin, that people shouldn't suspect that you're eating this together with milk, or if you would be cooking it with cheese, making a cheeseburger. So because of the question of Maras Ayin, it would still have to be treated carefully. As the halacha says in Shulchan Aruch, if a person would take meat and cook it in almond milk, that in order to indicate that he's not cooking meat and milk together, which is biblically prohibited, he would have to put some almonds on the table or next to that almond milk, so people would understand that this is almond milk and not milk derived from a cow. So this matter, whether we consider it Borsa or Pav, is an interesting question. Poskim are dealing with it. The OU's position is likely to be that we consider it Borsa because we want to have a consensus opinion about it. I only want to cite one interesting position in the Medrash. The Medrash has a discussion, the Pischei Tshuva quotes it, and is quoted in the Shalah, that if something was created, this is what the Pischei Tshuva discusses, if something what was created miraculously from the Sefer HaYetzirah, that meat, or a cow that was created that way, that would not require shrita, because it's no longer related to a naturally born cow, and therefore it's completely separate. And even though in every respect it's identical, it would not be considered Borsa. Whether that can serve a midrashic source, can serve as a source for halacha, is a matter of dispute and discussion. But the development and the impact for us is very, very significant.
That's all for today's Good Week Israel. Hope we've helped you start your week with a smile. I'm Chana Rifkin. See you next week.